Hey everyone, Chris here with Strength and Steel Reviews, and today we're talking calves, one of the most stubborn muscle groups in the human body, and it just so happens the very bane of my own existence. Thankfully, I've recently acquired a tool that may help me to manage this lifelong burden within the privacy of my own home, and that tool is the HVO seated calf raise machine. Priced at just under $200, we're gonna see if the seated calf raise will help you to develop the juicy calves you've always dreamed of having. Pray with me, everyone, pray. And you should know before we get started, most current research seems to suggest that standing calf raises are overall more effective for targeting the gastrocnemius. As a result, seated calf raises are getting a lot of hate and many are deeming it to be the inferior exercise overall. But that same research is also suggesting that seated calf raises do target the gastroc, and as effectively, they target the soleus, which is the often overlooked part of the calf muscle that sits just beneath the gastroc. And as someone who's always seeking unique ways to target each muscle, especially the calves because mine are just so terrible, I consider seated calf raises to be a useful tool. I always have. Now, perhaps HVO sensed my desperation for varied calf training and decided to send this my way because of it. I'm not certain. Regardless, they did send it for free in exchange for an honest review, and that's exactly what you're gonna get. So if you're desperate like me, and by the end of this video, you think this machine might help alleviate some of your woe, support the channel, check out the link below. All right, first things first, assembly. Now, if you followed my channel for any amount of time, then you know, much like my calves, equipment assembly is another great nemesis of mine. There are only about a million other things I would rather be doing, but it has to be done or these videos cease to exist, so I do it. And you know what? This was a relatively pain-free experience overall. I am happy to report that assembly was wonderfully simple and straightforward. The HVO seated calf raise arrived in a single, well-packaged box, no damage, no missing parts, and no head-scratching instructions. I had this thing put together in about 20 minutes, and I didn't even break a sweat, which is good because I'd rather save that for the actual workout, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way. These things can be complicated. It's really nice to see home gym equipment companies offering clear instructions and much simpler assemblies. Even the most recent RitFit Gazelle Pro that I reviewed, the hack squat leg press combo, was startlingly simple to construct. I really like that. For any companies watching, please simplify the assembly process like this. Please. Something else I like about this calf machine is its size. I love how compact it is. The full dimensions come in at about 24 inches deep, 49 inches wide, and 31 inches tall. And it only weighs 48 pounds, which is particularly awesome for me at this juncture because I'm out of room. So this piece is kind of floating around in gym space until I decide what to do with it. And because of its weight, I can move it easily. So that is great. Now, as for the build, it's made from solid 2mm steel tubing and finished with a matte powder coat. This is not a commercial grade machine and it's not a commercial grade finish. This is for home gym use, but it is sturdy. It's as sturdy as a seated calf raise machine needs to be. And it's rated to hold up to 660 pounds in total. That includes a 370 pound user capacity and up to 290 pounds in plates, which you are definitely not gonna need. For a budget-friendly unit that takes up about the same footprint as a utility bench, yeah, overall, it's pretty good. Okay, now the fun stuff. Performance. How does it feel? Honestly, it feels great. The movement itself is smooth and stable thanks to an upgraded bearing system. There's no wobble, there's no shaking, just a clean, consistent range of motion. And it's notably simple to operate, as most seated calf raise machines are. You just load the sleeve, raise the weight with your calves, slide the lever aside, and get to it. Now, probably my favorite part of this machine is the adjustability of the leg pad. You can adjust the leg pad vertically, and you can also adjust the support rod, which slides forward and backward through 4 additional settings. Now, in my experience with commercial gyms, the vertical adjustment on these machines is indeed common, but the support rod that allows for forward and backward movement, that is not standard for commercial gyms, and I love that feature. Now for me, when I'm using it, I actually keep the locking knob slightly loose and I let the pressure from the plates press my legs into the pad, and it locks me in exactly where I need to be. If it doesn't feel right, I'll just scoot forward or backward until it does. It's really great. Oh, and both the pads atop your knees and the cushion of the seat are thick and comfortable. I've worked with some that are quite the opposite, which can be a distraction. This is fortunately not the case here. Another thing I like, it's small, but I think it is a nice feature, is the upward facing load bar. It's designed to stay off the ground even when it's fully loaded, which might sound like a small thing, and I guess it is, but it does prevent scuffing. It eliminates the disruption of ground contact and in turn allows the movement to feel more fluid. The weight sleeves are also compatible with both 1-inch and 2-inch Olympic weight plates. So no matter what kind of plates you've got lying around, you should be good to go. Another nice feature, this model also comes in with built-in resistance band hooks, and it comes with a set of bands, which of course I promptly lost, but you can use your own bands too, and that's what I'm doing here. You can loop them right onto the pegs, which will indeed allow for additional tension at the top of each rep. Personally, I really just use the plates, but it is a unique option to have if you take your calf training really seriously, as I probably should. Lastly, there's the adjustable foot plate. It's textured, it's angled, and it's wide, which is great, and it means that it should work for a variety of different foot sizes, and best of all, different foot positions. For me, I'll usually start with my toes turned out, then I'll move to a neutral position, and I'll finish with my toes turned in, all in the same set, though I will often change up the order. That kind of variability is awesome for targeting different muscle fibers in the calf. Plus, the elevated height of this plate will allow you to get a really deep stretch at the bottom, because most research is saying that is where muscle growth occurs most maximally, when your muscle is in its most lengthened position, and this certainly allows for that. So, what's the final word on the HVO seated calf raise machine? Listen, I hate calf work. Calves are a notoriously stubborn muscle group that require frequent and consistent stimulus to trigger any kind of notable growth. So being able to use something like this at my own home rather than going to the gym has been awesome. Yes, seated calf raises have been found to be inferior to standing calf raises, that's true, but I genuinely believe in the value of variety, especially with a muscle group as stubborn as calves. Now, if you can manage to combine this with a standing calf raise variation, you should be golden. The two movements combined should adequately target the whole of the gastroc and the soleus, giving you a chance of not ending up like me. What's more, this machine is compact, it's sturdy, and it delivers a surprisingly smooth and customizable experience. The adjustability of the leg pad, both vertically and from the front and rear, genuinely impressed me. I've used commercial machines that cost 4 times as much and still couldn't get the adjustments right. The price is fair in my estimation, currently set at $199 at the time of this video. No, it's not going to magically grow your calves overnight, but if you've got stubborn calves like me, this is a convenient, lightweight piece that may offer you some kind of consistency, which is what's most important in the long run. Anyway, that's it for the review. Calves are the worst, but this just might help. Be better than me, people. Stay strong and stay steely. You know the deal. Adios.